Subscribe to my channel for more real-life stories before we dive in. The office holiday party was buzzing, alive with chatter, clinking glasses, and music that seemed to hum through every corner of the room. I had spent hours getting ready, convincing myself it would be just a casual evening. A chance to reconnect, to share a smile, maybe even laugh with the woman I had loved for so long. But the second I stepped inside, that illusion crumbled. She was at the center of the crowd, glowing under the warm lights, moving effortlessly through conversation, laughing freely, leaning toward a coworker, the same man I had seen too many times on her phone. It hit me like a sucker punch. She didn't glance at me once. She didn't acknowledge I existed. In that moment, the truth landed like a hammer. She was choosing him here and now in front of everyone. I moved toward her slowly, keeping my exterior calm while my insides burned. "Hey," I said softly, barely above a whisper, hoping to get her attention without making a scene. She ignored me, leaning closer to him, laughing at whatever he said. Her hand brushed his arm in a casual, delighted gesture. Then, without warning, she dropped words that cut me to the core. If I had a choice, I'd choose someone else. Laughter erupted around her, but I didn't hear it. All I felt was the cold sting of betrayal. The woman I had trusted, the woman I loved, was publicly mocking me. And she didn't care. I stood there, letting it sink in. Pulse racing, jaw tight, but I didn't yell. I didn't grab her. I didn't make a scene. My silence was deliberate, the quiet strength of someone refusing to be manipulated by mockery or laughter. Everyone around noticed. Co-workers exchanged uncertain glances. They'd assumed it was harmless fun. Slowly, I fixed my gaze on her. A look heavy with years of love, betrayal, and controlled fury. The kind of stare that stops someone mid-laugh, mid-word, mid-breath. The room shifted. Laughter faltered. Uncertainty spreading as my presence settled like gravity. Her confident smirk flickered for the first time, replaced by a brief flash of doubt. She had expected predictability, either anger or laughter. But this was neither. This was calm, calculated, silent power. I wasn't there to argue or fight. I was there to make her face the weight of her words, her choices, and her disregard for what we had shared. She tried to recover, tossing her hair, forcing another laugh, but it was gone. The coworkers who had been entertained now shifted uneasily, unsure how to react. The air thickened with tension. I stepped closer, deliberate, radiating a quiet authority she had never experienced. Her hands trembled slightly as she realized the playful dominance she had once held over me in public had vanished. Her joke had crossed a line, and I was the boundary she could no longer ignore. "My dear," I said softly, just loud enough for those nearby to hear. "So this is how you see our life, our love, as a joke?" Each word was measured, carrying months of hurt, betrayal, and neglect. Her face drained of color. The confident, radiant woman everyone had admired moments ago now appeared small, exposed, powerless. She tried to speak, perhaps to laugh again, but the room had gone silent. Every eye was on her. The weight of her actions pressed down, more terrifying than any angry outburst could have. The coworker beside her, who had been enjoying the attention, stepped back, uncertain. She gripped her drink, knuckles white, realizing the power she thought she held had evaporated in an instant. Her eyes searched mine, looking for some explanation, a wink, an apology, but I gave nothing. My calmness was deliberate, surgical, showing her exactly what she had lost: control, respect, and the devotion of someone who had once been entirely hers. She whispered, barely audibly, I was joking." Empty words. Meaningless. The silence I had created spoke louder than any defense. I shook my head slowly, holding her gaze, letting the truth settle in. This wasn't a joke. This was her choice, her exposure, her reckoning. The room watched frozen as she finally realized some lines, once crossed, can never be uncrossed. Her laughter had turned to shame, her confident energy replaced by trembling vulnerability she could neither hide nor reclaim. No further words were needed. The party lights shone on her face, but the atmosphere had changed. She sat down, head in her hands, shadows stretching across her features. Co-workers avoided her gaze, unsure how to react. I turned and walked away, not to dramatize, not to make a scene, but to leave with the quiet dignity of truth. She had crossed the line. Nothing could bring it back. By the time I disappeared from view, she was alone, trembling, finally understanding what she had lost. The fleeting laughter, attention, and admiration she had chased could never replace the respect, love, and presence of someone once entirely devoted to her. That night, the lights revealed a truth she could no longer ignore. Some lines, once crossed, leave permanent marks no words can erase.